into sticks or pretzels. Place on greased sheet. Apply a thin what? Egg wash? What's an egg wash?
That's the egg white and peanut.
We never used to do that, did we?
Tell me when you're done kneading and then we'll ball it up and let it rest. It's getting pretty tired, I think.
I think all the yeast is dead. Is it?
Well, I don't think so, because it's got to grow for the next hour. If it's dead, it's not going to double in bulk.
Well, do they reproduce or something? Does the yeast like reproduce a whole bunch?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it tells us in here what yeast is. I don't know.
What, does it reproduce a whole bunch? And then the yeast grows up and then reproduces again, then reproduces and reproduces and reproduces and reproduces.
Do you want to hear it?
More and more and more? Yeah, I want to hear. So it doubles.
About yeast. Yeasts are living organisms with 3,200 billion cells to the pound, and not one is exactly alike. They feed on sugars and produce alcohol.
What? How much?
What?
How much per pound?
Yeasts are living organisms with 3,200 billion cells to the pound, and not one.
3,000 billion?
3,200 billion. That's a lot of zeros.
Hold it.
Get a piece of paper and write it out.
That's not right.
3.2 trillion.
That is
To the pound. In a pound, there would be 3.2 trillion.
That doesn't sound right.
Well, I believe them in here. They know what they're talking about.
Well, I don't believe them because how could that much yeast be combined? If there was that much yeast, then they would have to be like a microscopic organism to your skin cells.
What did I get?
They're very small. A pound, they're saying to the pound, Jackson. Now look, in this packet that we had, this packet is only a quarter of an ounce. So you need 4 of these to make 1 ounce. And do you know how many ounces are in a pound?
16.
Yeah, 16. So 4 times 16 is how much?
4 times 16.
What's 32 and 32?
Oh, yeah. 64.
64. So you need 64 of these little packets to make a pound. So we're talking about a lot of yeast. Okay, so.
I mean like this much?
No, about this much probably.
That's not right.
I didn't write the book.
That's just wrong. Totally
Do you want to hear
wrong.
what else they have to say, or do you not believe they're right on anything? They feed on sugars, and listen to what they produce. You're not going to want to eat your pretzels now. They produce alcohol and carbon dioxide. The riser we are after. So that's how they make the dough rise. They eat the sugar, and then they have gas.
I don't do that.
And they fart it up. Carbon dioxide gas. But you may prefer, don't spit.
Don't spit on that dough.
But you listen to this. But you may prefer, as we do, to accept a Mexican attitude towards yeast doughs. They call them almas or souls because they seem so spirited.
We don't want any other microscopic organisms on
Okay,
that.
now,
but
you need to
yeast.
give it a
We don't
rest.
want any bacterium.
You guys have made it. Look at how soft you guys have made this dough. You've made it
We
really
don't want
smooth.
any bacterium.
Look at how soft and smooth it is. Okay, now we're going to put it in the greased bowl and cover it and let it rise. Okay, so it doubles in size.
We don't want any.
Okay, let's continue to read about
If
yeast,
there was,
Jackson.
if there was that much in a pound, then they could not see it with a microscope. They couldn't see it with a microscope.
When flour is mixed with water to form a dough, which is kept covered and in a warm place, the wild yeast coming from the air and in the flour will start working and form a sourdough. There are enzymes in the flour to convert the wheat starch into sugar, on which the yeast feeds, making alcohol and carbon dioxide. Organic acids and other fragrant compounds are also created to give the sour effect. Sourdoughs, discussed later, are examples of this primitive bacterial method. They are so primitive that they're recorded in Egyptian history of 4000 BC. Wow, that's pretty amazing, huh? But with the fine strains of yeast available, it seems foolish to try so chancy. In necessity, sourdough can still be made. It's dependent on definite temperature ranges. It begins to activate